For the 5th straight season, the Buffalo Bills are your AFC East champions. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. We're presented by Paramount Plus. He's Wall of Famer Steve Tasker. I'm Maddy Glab. It was a winter wonderland at Highmark Stadium tonight. The Bills went dashing through the 49ers for an easy win with a final score of 35-10. Steve, what did you love most about this game?
Well, I love most that they took the sting out of it right away. The 49ers scored 3 points out of the gate, and the Bills went 3 and out of the gate. You thought, okay, it's going to be one of those games. Here we go. The Bills answered with a long drive, came down, and then put another touchdown right on top of it with James Cook's 65-yard touchdown, and all of a sudden it was 14-3, and we felt a lot better about things. There was never much stress in this game for Bills fans. It was a great night to celebrate the snow, their 5th consecutive division title, a lot of things to look around and say, wow, look at us. It's an amazing, they're a very good football team right now.
It's week 13 and the Bills are your AFC East champions. It's the first time in 50 years that team has clinched their division this early. The Bills have also won 7 straight games and scored at least 30 points in 6 straight games. A lot of streaks going on here in Buffalo because this team is just so good. We're going to get to the podium. Quarterback Josh Allen and wide receiver Amari Cooper are speaking to the media right now.
Effort to record a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown in a single game. In the way that it happened with Amari, I mean, I don't know if you could have ever imagined that happening. Was that your favorite touchdown of your career? Can you take us through that play, kind of how it happened and the emotions after?
It's got to be up there. I wish he got credited for something there, an assist or a passing touchdown, but again, I kind of threw a bad ball, so I was just kind of chasing it. Was kind of tipped around. He made a heck of a catch. Yeah, I threw it. It was just kind of sticky hand, and I just kind of chased the ball just to be there. And we made eye contact, and
that's what it was. Yeah.
He just pitched it, and I had to go make a play. It was dope.
All right, what is it like to knowing that you can have that type of eye contact with a quarterback who's just such an outstanding footballer?
Nah, I was wondering what he was doing over there. Like, that doesn't usually happen. Like when you throw like a dart route like that. I just saw him. I figured he was over there because he wanted the ball, so I gave it to him.
Marty, have you watched Travis Kelce at all? Like he's been doing that.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple years ago when they were trying to add that to their offense. So yeah, I did.
Hey Josh, first to win the division, your first goal out of the way. How impressive is it to do it this early?
It's a good feeling. This one feels a little bit different. This early in the season, we still got 5 games left. So the cool thing about it, like you get to go out there, we get to go out there, and we get to play free, right? There's really no repercussions for what we're doing, but at the same time, we're chasing the 1 seed. We understand that, we know that, and we got to keep getting better each and every week. So, but it's going to be fun. I mean, to go out there and play free and play relaxed and play loose, I think that could be a dangerous team.
Josh, you took a different approach going into this season. How much did you try to maintain that approach going into just 12 games into the season?
Yeah, again, just trying to make good decisions with the football, let our playmakers make plays, and I feel like we've been doing a good job of that. Still things to clean up, still a couple things I wish I had back today, but that type of weather game, typically not a fan of, but that was a lot of fun today.
It had to be the shoes, right? Bella, Blake,
Absolutely.
had to be the shoes.
Absolutely.
Josh, a couple times there was, it seemed like the hand was bothering you a little bit. What happened there on the one line?
I got hit in the not so funny bone. It was bad. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever been hit that hard in the funny bone where it feels like your hand's on fire. That's what it felt like, and I just kind of had no feeling in my fingers for a few plays. Not fun.
I'm sorry. Early in the game, they were fired up. You guys had gone to 3 and out, and James makes that play. What did that do for everybody, especially to see him, with that kind of speed on these kind of conditions?
We'll take those drives every day of the week. Spark some energy into us. He hit the hole. He hit it hard. We had guys blocking. All right. Ask him a question.
Mari, man, I know it's kind of tough always coming in mid-season to a new team, but how much fun are you having, just being here in Buffalo? You got the hat and T-shirt on, man. How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Obviously, it's always fun to win. fun to be in a new place with a close-knit group, guys who love each other. They spend a lot of time around each other, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Josh, you had Sean doing snow angels after the game. Is that something that you ever thought you'd see?
Honestly, no. He's the one that got me to do it too. I wasn't. I was just trying to give him some flowers. He was live on TV, and yeah, I mean, anytime Coach asks you to do something, you do it. I'm a good soldier, so I'm not the biggest snow angel fan because you get cold down there. My toes are freezing right now. I'm just trying to get in the shower, but it was fun.
Touchdown to Holland. Can you just describe that? How you saw it?
Yeah, they kind of played two guys to Coop. That's kind of my first read. Eyes went left, back to Dawson, and then obviously with how the footing was, our offensive line was able to just hold everyone at bay and allow me to look right, and Mac was kind of hand fighting with the DB over there and just gave him an opportunity to go make a play for us, and he did.
Josh, I know the first half, it's 14-3, you're backed up way back. I mean, it was probably just be safe and don't make a mistake down there, but you went 97 yards. I mean, how big was that drive at that point in the game, considering where you started?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was huge, especially given the fact that they were getting the ball after half as well. So we were able to kind of dwindle the time and not allow them to double dip, is what we call it. So just, again, an opportunity to be really good at situational football, and we did.
In those conditions, you got to be impressed by the way you guys moved the ball. I mean, because it was hard to move the ball, I'm guessing, tonight, right? And to go 97 in that spot was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, it's not.
Expound. Good word. I mean, again, guys block their tails off, receivers in the run game going and getting safeties and DBs, allowing our running backs to, we call it hat on hat, allow them to make some yards, and then the passing game, guys made plays.
Josh, I saw in an interview you said that a lot of people counted this team out, at least externally. So I know you just said it feels different to win the division at this point, but does it also feel like it means maybe a little more?
No, I mean, I think, the only thing that this does is guarantees a spot in the playoffs. Like I said, still a lot to learn from and grow from throughout the season. We got to play 5 more games, and next week we're going across the country, so we got to be ready for that one.
Touchdown to Hollins.
When was the last time you threw a lateral?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember
ever done.
I don't remember ever doing it.
Mark, what was the mindset, coming off the bye week? What was some of the things that was coach telling you guys, during the bye week?
Just the same thing. Just not to get complacent. Just take it one step at a time, every game at a time. Obviously, we harped on the fact that this was an important game to win a division. Obviously, when you win a division, you automatically make the playoffs for the most part. So, yeah, that's what we were focused on.
How scary do you think this team could be?
With my experience, I played on a lot of teams, some good teams, some bad teams. This is definitely a scary team. Like Josh said earlier, we just sealed an opportunity, and that's all it is. So we just have to take advantage of it.
All right, what's the mindset when the weather's like this? Because this could happen again before the end of the year, especially for a wide receiver. These kind of conditions. Does the mindset change at all when you go out in this kind of field and know what your role is in the game?
Not necessarily the mindset. Obviously, you have a job to do and you want to do that job. So from that standpoint, no. But it is a little bit of a different game as far as, the footing. It's harder to catch the ball. So I would just say you just have to focus a little bit more. That's it.
Josh, that touchdown to Mac established you as the new career leader in touchdowns for the Bills, surpassing Jim Kelly. What does that mean to you?
It's a cool stat. That's kind of all it is. Just trying to be the best quarterback that I can be for this Bills team. We gotta find a way to get over the hump.
How's it feel to play as a soon-to-be married man?
Felt good. Felt free. See you guys. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Gotta be the shoes, baby.
Hey Bills fans, Paramount Plus is your home to stream live, local on CBS games every Sunday all season long, right through the AFC Championship game. So sign up and sign into Paramount Plus today. That was quarterback Josh Allen and wide receiver Amari Cooper on the podium. Josh Allen was on another level in this game. A lot of people think of the quarterback as somebody who does a lot of crazy things that just make you question, are you even human? Well, he did that again tonight. He throws a pass over to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper gets a loss of 2 yards. He's about to go to the ground, so he laterals it to Allen, who's in the area and looks like he's begging for the ball. Allen then takes it 9 yards into the end zone to score. It goes down in the stat book as a passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown for Josh Allen. It was absolutely wild. He is a madman and is making a case why he deserves to be the MVP this season. Steve, what was so impressive about this throwing and receiving touchdown by Josh Allen?
Well, I've never seen it. He's the only quarterback in history to have done it. There's been 3 or 14 other guys in the history of the league who have thrown for one, caught one, and run one in. He's the only quarterback who's ever done it, which is kind of strange. He's usually a wide receiver who throws a reverse pass for a touchdown and then gets one the other way. Doesn't happen very often. It's never happened to a quarterback before. The guy scored, he needed like 1 touchdown to surpass Jim Kelly. Mm-hmm. He got like 5 of them. So he came into this game. This is exactly the kind of quarterback he has been his entire career. It's a really impressive performance. It was really unbelievable stuff that he did. That he chased that pass to Amari Cooper over there because he thought maybe, with the fumbling, the ball handling that people were having trouble with, he chased that pass down being a smart football player because he thought, there's 3 guys trying to tackle Amari, and he had trouble catching it, so he thinks somebody's going to knock that ball out of his grasp. Josh is going to go over there to make sure they don't turn it back over. Amari tosses it to them, make a little eye contact, and I know exactly how that, make that little eye contact. You trust each other. Amari gives him the ball, and Josh is in the end zone. It's just 2 smart football players trusting each other and being able to make a play in that moment. It's pretty amazing. There were a handful of plays in this game that were epic, and that was one of them.
What type of quarterback do you have to be when you throw the football, your receiver catches it, and is looking to lateral it back to you to score a touchdown?
Yeah, you're a unicorn, I mean, you really are. You're one of a kind. And I mean, there may be a handful of guys across the history of the league who were that kind of guy. But not only you have to be the physical guy to do that, to go over there and have a guy toss it to you. I mean, you've also, listen, it's no small thing. Amari Cooper's been here a month. He's been here for 10 minutes. And to trust Josh Allen, Josh has got to be that kind of guy that Amari Cooper say, yeah, he'll be all right.
And that's a statement.
It's a statement about the kind of teammate Josh is, the kind of leader he is, the kind of athlete he is, the reputation he has, the trust he already has gotten from Amari Cooper to say, you know what, I think he's okay. I'm going to give him the ball. That's a big deal. It's a subtle statement about how big the level of trust the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills has earned from his teammates, even a guy who's been here for, a cup of coffee so far. That's a big statement. And it's interesting, for you to bring that up. You're right. You don't toss that back to Drew Brees. You don't toss it back to Dan Marino. You don't toss it back. There's a lot of Hall of Fame quarterbacks you wouldn't do that to. You do it to Josh, right? He's the only one in history. So there you go. It's a pretty amazing thought when you put it into that context.
Josh Allen now has 247 total touchdowns in his career. It passes Hall of Fame quarterback Jim Kelly for most touchdowns in Bills history. Josh Allen continues to etch his name in the record books over his 7 years as a Buffalo Bill and as a quarterback of this team. Greg Rousseau, our defensive end, had quite the game. He's on the podium talking to media right now. Let's hear from Groot.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, before the snap, you can see some of us trying to move some of the snow out of the way so we can have a good get off. But it was tough. But I mean, it didn't stop us from getting a win, so that's all that matters.
Usually in bad footing, the pass rushers sometimes can't get anything going.
Yeah.
But you guys did, did you use longer cleats or what did you do?
I mean, everything stayed normal for me. I guess I feel like it was just the effort and just the determination. That's just trying to go out there 4=1 and just rush as a unit and do what we're coached to do.
The first sack, they showed a lot of speed there. Ran from the other side of the line. Just talk about that.
Just overlapping. I think me and Ed, we had a nice little game we were running. Then the center came to me. I kind of just popped the center and then just broke the pocket. And then Purdy was trying to get out to our left, and I just chased him down.
You have bigger goals in the country division. It's so special to enjoy.
Yeah, it's always special. You gotta enjoy these moments. I mean, we put a lot of work in since OTAs to win the division. Like that was a goal of ours. So I mean, being able to come out here and do that, it was great.
What about having Matt Milano back out there on the field with you guys? A little bit of spark pre-game and into the game.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's a special player, a special person, and it's the joy that the whole entire team got. Just seeing him out there and also just the crowd when he ran out the tunnel. I mean, it's special.
You see your receiver lateral to your quarterback.
Yeah.
Everyone did a bunch on the big screen.
Yeah, that was crazy. That's just them. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they do. It's crazy.
Being a Miami guy, did you ever play in snow before you came to Buffalo?
Nah.
Have you did you learn to like it, or what is your attitude about it?
I like it. It's cool. It's cool. I mean, obviously it's tough with the footing, so I wouldn't. If I had to choose between snow and normal, I'd pick normal. But it's fun when you're out there and you don't really care about the weather, you know, because you can't make it a focal point on your preparation. You just gotta kind of is what it is and go out there and just play hard.
Right, you talk about the footing. Is there conversations about what you're going to wear? Do you change? How does that work? And do you go out there and see what you like?
Yeah, I mean, some people change their cleats. I don't really change mine. I kind of just try to make sure I'm like cleaning them out in between plays with like the little. We got these little orange tools that we use to kind of clean our feet, or just tapping my heels together and trying to get the snow out.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
That was defensive end Greg Rousseau, who was a terror in this game. He finishes with a sack, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 fumble recovery. He was all over the place, and the defensive line as a whole was getting after Brock Purdy in spurts throughout the game. Why have you been impressed with the way that he's been so consistent this year?
Well, it's nice to see him stay, at least from the outer views, 100% healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys, even when he doesn't feel 100% and when he's not feeling 100%, he has gone in the past and played through some stuff, and it's affected his play. This year, it seems like he's feeling a lot better physically across the board every game. His ability to cover ground, his length, he's starting to use his length more so than he has in the past. His ability to walk down Brock Purdy when he was trying to get out of the pocket, and then the fumble recovery. He's having his eyes up, making sure he's the guy who sees it, because none of the offensive linemen see it. The Niners lost 3 fumbles. They had 3 fumbles. They lost all of them tonight. And Greg Rousseau and the defensive line, I was really impressed with him. Here's the thing, too. The Bills ran the football from start to finish. The Niners really wanted to run the football a lot, and they did so early in the game. Mm-hmm. But there were a couple, like I said earlier, there's a handful of plays that made a difference. One was the 65-yard touchdown by James Cook that put the Bills up 2 scores. And then after halftime, when it was 21-3, the Niners came out right after halftime, put together a very good drive, a really nice drive, and Taylor Rapp punched the ball out. Christian Benford went the other way. As Juszczyk was going into the end zone to make it 21-14, all of a sudden it was Bills' ball midfield. It was still 21-3, and the Bills were driving. Those 2 plays flipped this game right on its head and really put the Niners behind it. Then Brock Purdy was going to have to throw the football to stay in this football game or get back in the football game, and the Bills' defensive line made that really difficult for him.
The 49ers rushed for 119 yards in the first half, just 34 rushing yards in the second half. They hold the 49ers to just 7 points in the second half as well. This defense has been a defense that's made incredible second half adjustments. No matter what game it is, they figure out how a team operates accelerates on offense in the first half, and then quickly in the locker room at halftime, they figure out this is what we need to do. They go out and they do exactly that. They limit the 49ers on the ground. They force them to throw the football, which was hard to do to begin with because this was a game. It snowed the entire game.
Yeah, that's right. And usually, and I thought the running game was going to be one of those games where the Bills rushed for 220 in this game. I mean, they hung it up on them because they had the lead and they could do it. Their offensive line would lean on guys, and their running backs, I thought James Cook and Ray Davis.
Yeah.
They really did a nice job being patient before they hit the hole or hitting it. If it wasn't there, they were really patient and then sidestepped and found a way. And then the offensive line also made a couple of them where they just hit it hard, hit it fast, and they were gone. This offensive line and running game was really the difference in the game, plus the fact that the Bills had gotten out in front and they could stick with it longer than the Niners could. The Niners had 47 offensive plays. Bills had 56 offensive plays. We've seen it more lopsided in the Bills' favor in other times. But by the same token, the Bills had the ball 33 and a half minutes to the 49ers, 26 and a half minutes. At the end of it, the Bills could hang on to possess the football. They were 50%, 6 of 12 on third down, 100% on fourth down, 4 of 4. It was hard to get the football away from the Bills once they got that lead. And this defensive line, the running game, every facet of the team was clicking.
It snowed the entire game. When there's snow falling at a crazy rate, your game plan completely changes. You're not going to go to the air as much. So the Bills had to rely on their ground game. 220 rushing yards. James Cook finishes with 107. Ray Davis has 63. They were without a tight end and Dalton Kincaid, without a wide receiver and Keon Coleman. They needed to lean on somebody, and it was all about the running backs. They showed up. It was their moment. They were successful, and the offensive line did a great job of helping them as well. They used 6 offensive linemen quite a bit in this matchup, and it just makes sense because of the snowfall, because of the 49ers defense. You want that extra protection, and it really worked for Buffalo tonight. The Bills on defense had 3 takeaways, forced 3 fumbles in this one. One of those players, safety Taylor Rapp. He's on the podium right now.
Punch out, just kind of how do you see the play unfold?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't even really trying to go for the ball, just trying to make a tackle, save a touchdown. Was able to, get the ball out. Huge game-changing play right there. Obviously, CB picks it up. I thought he was going to score. He should have scored, man. But, it's game-changing play for sure.
So you didn't actually punch at it? You just were wrapped?
Yeah, just really going for the ball. Obviously slippery conditions out there. So, obviously, any ball carrier, obviously, it's going to be a little more slippery. But, I really wasn't even trying to go for the ball.
How, just describe how the footing affected you and how you dealt with how tough was it?
Yeah, the first drive right there, I feel like we were kind of back at our heels and stuff. A lot of guys not really getting their footing and stuff. And so after that first drive, we held them to 3, had a red zone stop, came to the sidelines, and we started switching out to the 7 stud, the longer cleats. So I think that made a huge difference for the game. But getting your footing was tough. We kind of had to make adjustments the rest of the game, just, making sure that we're, our feet are under us. We're not taking too big of, steps and breaking too much out of our, center of gravity and stuff like that. So we were able to make adjustments throughout the game.
Was it fun?
Oh yeah, that was probably the funnest game in my life right there. Obviously, big time Sunday night football game, snow game. Man, it was unbelievable. Obviously, clinched the division too, so great night.
How much of playing in these conditions is mentally, like embracing it and enjoying it? Because, I mean, obviously it's more enjoyable when you're ahead too, but what is that mindset like of saying, we can handle this?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got the saying around here, and don't quote me on the saying because I might get it wrong, but when it's too tough for everyone else, it's just right for us. So, that's a mentality that we have every single day. Whenever we can, coach is having us out practicing outside during the week and stuff like that. Just embracing the elements, embracing the mentality really, because it's real home field advantage here with the Bills Mafia, and obviously with the weather too. So we definitely take advantage of that.
Any extra juice having Matt Milano back on the field?
Oh yeah, man. I couldn't wait to get 58 out there, man. It was, I really have never played a game with him. Because he went down early last year, and he really hasn't played since the London game, Jaguars last year. So, I was excited. Obviously, training camp, getting a lot of practices out there with him and stuff. But, you could feel the whole juice and energy of the whole team, defense rallying around him. Obviously, team captain, and just getting his feet wet. Man, it was great to see 58 out there.
Obviously, that's a really good team on the other side. But was there a moment when you kind of felt like, not to make a pun, but like there was an avalanche of like, okay, we got this game, like this is ours?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, obviously our offense is rolling too. They were, Jimbo was, cranking a lot of big runs out and stuff like that. And, as soon as we went up 21-3 at halftime, and then, we got that turnover, coming out of halftime, I feel like that was a kind of huge shift in, momentum.
You made the play to clinch the division last year in Miami in the final game of the year, and now you guys do it a lot earlier. What does it allow you to do, already having the division locked up with 5 games left?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels great. They did it. This is 5 straight division titles here in Buffalo. So, obviously that's amazing. But we said in the locker room, this is not the finish line. There's still a lot of season left. There's still, a lot of games where we can get better and roll into the playoffs. And obviously, it feels good clinching a playoff spot like that this early on. But this isn't the finish line. We still got a lot of ball left, and we're excited.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
What was your vantage point on the Josh Allen, Amari Cooper?
Oh man, I mean, DBs were on the bench right there, and I mean, we couldn't even believe our eyes. Like, I've never seen anything like what Josh, obviously he took over this game. He takes over every single game. But that play was, unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Taylor, in a game like that, do you try to keep the receivers in front of you because of the footing, just in case you miss something? You just try to keep them in front of you? Is that the same thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when we went up, 21-3 and had a big lead, obviously your mentality and your play calling changes a little bit. Your playing style changes a little bit. So, just making sure we're, not giving up any deep shots or anything like that, making them, chunk it throughout the whole field, and not giving them any big plays when we're up big lead. But obviously with footing like that, just making sure we're deep enough and we're staying within ourselves when we're planting and when we're changing direction and stuff like that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, this week's Player Spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and today we are highlighting our running back James Cook for his 14 carries, 107 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. He had that 65-yard rushing touchdown, the longest of his career. Steve, why was it so fun to watch this guy rack up the stat column tonight?
Well, it was really fun. The first drive, the Bills come out and they go 3 and out. I didn't know how it was going to go. They come out in their after they come down and score, get it together and score, and the running game is going to be a big part of it. They say, okay, here comes Jimbo. And, they're up 7-3, and he hits this. When he turned the corner, 3 guys had an angle on him, and then they didn't. And he was in the end zone. He just flat out ran him. He got 21.85 miles per hour on this run. It was one of the top 10 fastest runs from a running back all season. And he looked it. I mean, nobody got a hand on him. Once he got the ball in the open field, he shifted gears, and everybody's doing snow angels in the end zone. It was great. That was an impressive run. It was well blocked up front, obviously, and that was when you knew the Bills were on it. They were clicking. And I'll say it again. The Niners are struggling, and this is the team that was in the Super Bowl. And they're not very far away from being a really good football team. They had a couple of injuries, and even tonight they were nicked again by the injury bug. Their roster is a little bit top-heavy, comparatively speaking. The Bills, not so much like that. So when they do get injuries, they've got guys that are stout stepping in. They are really a deep football team. Their injuries that they suffered through this first half of the season, now that are starting to get behind them, they gave them a chance, and the coaching staff gave those guys a chance, and they proved to be trustworthy of winning games. So now what happens, you come out of the bye week against a team like the Niners, and you got a team that's got 53 guys that'll help you win. Every guy the Bills have looked to help them has risen to the occasion. James Cook is a prime example. This guy's a star. I mean, he's one of the top 5 running backs in the National Football League. He is an important part of one of the best teams in the league. And that play, that 65-yard run, shows how dynamic of an athlete he is. There's a ton in this game that tells you. I had a very quick conversation with Chris Collinsworth tonight. He goes, "This team seems a little different." I go, "Yeah, this is a little different team than the Bills have had. They're still good. They were good back then, and in the 4 other division titles. This one seems a little different, and it seems a little better."
James Cook goes sliding into the end zone on his belly, and you see the offensive line come in and slide in as well and help celebrate that touchdown, because it's just as much their touchdown as it is Cook's touchdown. This offensive line has done an incredible job blocking for the running backs this season, and so have the wide receivers. Everybody's chipping in and doing their part. James Cook had averaged 7.6 yards per carry tonight. Ray Davis, 5.7 yards per carry tonight. It's not only them. There's guys creating holes for them to run through those holes to find some open grass, or I should say open field of snow in this game, and get some extra yards. And it's the offensive line, it's also the wide receivers who are happy to do it and happy to celebrate the other person's success. This team wins together. They want to fight together, and it's a great group as you watch them play on the field every single week. This group really cares about each other.
The running backs of this, everybody who carried the ball, but the running backs: James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson was the guy who was the worst. He had 5 carries for 28, averaged 5.6 a carry. And he had the worst stat line of anybody. Ray Davis, 11 for 63 for 5.7. Curtis Samuel had a carry for 7 yards. Josh averaged 6 yards a carry. It was one of those nights where certainly the conditions were a factor in it, but they were a factor in it for the 49ers offense as well. Ray Davis getting in for the first touchdown of the game around the corner. And then Ray coming in later in the game when the Bills wanted to run the clock and shorten the possessions when they were up 3 scores. Ray Davis turned into a sledgehammer. He was a bowling ball covered in butcher knives. They just didn't want any part of him, and they squeezed the life out of the game. It ended up the Niners didn't have a chance to score any more points. It was over.
This week's game is presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, the official healthcare plan of the Buffalo Bills, because life. Sean McDermott, Buffalo's head coach, who now has 5 straight AFC East titles in his pocket, is on the podium right now talking to media. Let's hear what he had to say after this big victory.
All right, so I want to start off by thanking a few people, if I could, just for all their help with getting this game played, and also the tremendous job in clearing the roads and making it as safe a place as possible to get this game played and for the fans to experience what they experienced tonight. So I'll start with Kathy Hochul and her staff, Bill Geary, Dan Nevereth from Erie County. Appreciate all of your help. The Bills staff, I'll just mention a few of the names, department heads here. Andy Major, Matt Hunter, Aaron Ramella, and their respective staffs for just a job well done. It takes a lot to be able to, again, pull this off with the amount of snow and the timing of the snow, as you guys know. So the countless fans and workers who helped shovel us out and the area of the stadium and around the stadium. And then last but not least, the fans and all those in the organization that don't get the credit they so deserve day in and day out for what they do for the Buffalo Bills and the community. Can't say enough about that and how grateful we are. I think we get a lot of the credit, the people who get our names in the paper, but it's about much more than us. And so I'm extremely grateful for everyone's help. And I'm extremely happy for the fans that they get a chance to experience this at home in the snow. Like I said in the locker room, and Coach Levy said it, where else would you rather be, right? I think that says it all, than right here, right now. Just awesome, awesome moment.
What inspired this snow angel?
Well, to be honest with you, we were coming down the tunnel at halftime, and Zach Davidson said to me, he tapped me on the hip, and he said, "Hey, we win this game, you got to do a snow angel." And I said, "All right, you got it." So I guess I followed through on my promise.
If you look across this roster right now, you mentioned Zach Davidson coming up on the practice squad, Matt Collins, a guy that's fit into this role, Alec Anderson, what he's meant for your run game, the offensive line. The secondary guys, that people maybe don't get the headlines, what have they meant to your team this season?
I think that's really what makes a good team, is the guys that are, let's call them in the gaps, that people they're not the household names that people know about or talk about. Those guys embracing their roles, being ready to go week in and week out, practice squad players the same way. I think that's really, to me, what makes a good football team or just a good team overall.
Sean, when you talk about the home field advantage here and all that you have, but it takes players embracing what it is.
Yeah.
And, it's like Taylor just said about when it's too tough for them, it's just right for us. How important is it to build that and have the players who come in embrace playing what it's like to play in Buffalo?
Yeah, I remember when I first got the job, when Brandon and I first arrived, being at the Combine and someone saying, "Hey, that it's going to be hard to get players to go to Buffalo." And I didn't say anything, but in my mind I was saying to myself, well, we'll see, When people get a chance to be in this environment and play in front of these fans, I think it makes a huge difference, right? This is a place where people love their professional sports teams. They love sports overall. And it's a true connection to me that I've experienced in 8 years of the team and the fans are one. And that doesn't happen everywhere. So I think this place is starting to become a place around the NFL now that people come and they see this and they're going, "I want to be a part of this." Even players sometimes after the game from the other teams saying, "Hey, man, this is pretty cool." So I think that speaks for itself, really.
As a coach, do you draw up a lateral from Amari Cooper to Josh Allen?
Yeah, I just closed my eyes when I saw that. When I saw that happen, I was like, "Oh, geez, here we go." It's just, I don't really have words for it other than to say it's two veteran players with great symmetry, really.
December 1st.
And probably something you saw in backyards all across western New York, or at least Buffalo, in the last 48 hours. I know my son was in the backyard playing with his buddies, and I was just sitting in by the window watching those guys yesterday. And I mean, they're all wishing they could be Josh Allen and Amari Cooper, right? Which I think is cool.
December 1st, players in the division, I know they're all different and they all come at different times in the season. How is this one different in the way that it's so early in the year and there's a lot of season left to play? Josh kind of alluded to, you get to play free now and really kind of let it fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to do, so you'll take it whenever you get it, whether it's the last week of the season or this early in the season. I think the biggest thing is, and I'm going to give you the coach's view on it, Josh, is where we go from here, right? How do we reset? Certainly to enjoy this, like I said to the team, these, being 50 years old, 20-plus years in this league, I've learned to try and enjoy the moments, and this is a moment, right? And then after that, tomorrow move forward and turn the page, because as you know, as we talk about a lot, it's a week-to-week league and you got to bring your A game, and for us it's continuing to develop and grow in the areas we need to develop and grow in and take those necessary steps.
Josh made it very clear that you guys are going for the number 1 seed. That is the goal now that you're getting won the division. Is that something that has been kind of the message, especially now that the division's wrapped up?
It's probably the next goal for us, right, is to position ourselves the best we can. We control a piece of that, and then, some of that we don't. So it's really about our level of play every week, getting to the level it needs to be, and that usually puts you in a good spot one way or the other.
With the elements the way that they were today, talking to a couple players, it's hard to run the ball when the other team knows you want to run the ball in a game like this.
Yeah.
To see the success that you had on the ground, all three backs, the offensive line, what did you see that you liked out of this effort today?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a line of scrimmage game, and I applaud our guys, our offensive line in particular. And I know the defensive side, they had some runs, right? It's tough. It was tough footing on the defensive side because they know where they're going, and you don't know where they're going, right? And but I think we can do some things better overall, and we need to do them better. Offensively, to be able to run that football the way we did, like you said, when they knew we were going to run it because of the conditions in particular. I thought James's run was at the early part of the second quarter, I think was huge in terms of opening it up, really. And being able to score on that was huge. And the way he practices is just what you saw on that run. Every day, that same effort, trying to score on every play in practice, every run play that he gets, and it just shows up on game day.
Matt Milano, you got him out there. He was for the coin toss. He starts. He's playing. Was it the plan how much he was going to play? I don't know what his snap counts ended up being, but it seemed like he had a good percentage.
Yeah, I don't know the snap count either. We tried to focus just primarily on first and second down, Mike, with his reps, and just to try and ease him back in. Now, who knew it was going to snow as much as it did? We didn't know that. We knew it was going to be a little bit snowy maybe during the game, but not to the extent. And so we didn't have a ton of third downs just based on the way the game was played. So he may have gotten a little bit more than we wanted, but as he told me before the game, he's like, I'm going to sneak in on some third downs too. And I was like, okay, right? So.
When you think back to Pittsburgh, you were pretty beside yourself when you talked to us about Milano being out, the injury.
Yeah.
Seeing this all kind of come to fruition tonight and him go out there, what feeling did you have when you saw that?
Yeah, I don't usually pay a ton of attention specifically to guys getting announced before the game. This it just so happened it was the week the defense was up, and to hear the crowd go crazy when Matt was announced, I think just again it's I don't want to speak for the fans, but I think they appreciate how tough he's had to be over the course of the last 2 years and his journey. More just as much I think as his level of who he is as a player, and so when they were cheering for him, I think that to me what I heard was they were appreciative of the fact that he had worked himself back to come back for the team.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey Bills fans, Paramount Plus is your home to stream live local NFL on CBS games every Sunday all season long, right through the AFC Championship game. So sign up and sign into Paramount Plus today. All right, you heard head coach Sean McDermott explaining what it feels like to win 5 straight AFC East titles. They're the first team to clinch the division this early in 50 years. In Week 13, they have locked up the AFC East. This is a team who, in 2017, you have a new head coach in Sean McDermott and a new general manager in Brandon Beane walk in these doors. It was a team who was in a playoff drought, who hadn't sniffed the playoffs in several years, and they had to do a complete overhaul. New players, new identity, new culture. It took a couple years, but they became a consistent winning team. They've been to the playoffs several years in a row now. Won the AFC East 5 years in a row. They get a quarterback in Josh Allen who completely changes everything for them. Brandon Beane, our general manager and the scouting department, has done a great job of putting the right pieces in place to create a winning team. And then our head coach, Sean McDermott, follows it up with getting the best out of every single player they bring through these doors. Why has it been so impressive to see this team get 5 straight AFC East titles? This is expected now.
Yeah, it really is. They've been in the playoffs under Sean McDermott 7 out of his 8 years in Buffalo. He went through the playoffs in his first year as head coach of the Bills with a roster that was largely drought-filled players. Nobody else could get him to the playoffs. He did it in his first year. Then Josh Allen's rookie season was the one they didn't make it to the playoffs. His second year, they were a wild card, so they went a wild card, out of the playoffs, wild card, and now they've run off what is now their 5th straight division title. They've won playoff games in every year they've won the division title and gotten to the divisional round of the playoffs and they won AFC championship game. And for the first time in modern history, the first time in the free agent era of the National Football League, Buffalo is a place where the word has gotten around that it is a culture and an environment and a coaching staff that gets the best out of its players. They've got a reputation for taking care of players, protecting players from themselves, treating them well, and giving each player, and I don't say on an individual basis, giving each player an environment that they can thrive in. And when you think that, well, that's great, it's nice you treat all these players. They treat each player, they give each player an environment that player can thrive in, almost on an individual basis. Some players like to be challenged by a coach. They like to say, I don't think, listen, we're going to let you try this. We don't think you can do it. We're going to give you one opportunity and you got to do it. And the guy thrives in that kind of challenge. So we can use that as motivation and drive. Other players need to be treated like, well, I got so much faith in you. You can do this. You know, have kind of either step on their toe to get them to go it or rub their tummy to make them feel good. Players need different things to motivate them. This coaching staff and the culture they've created here and all the support staff and the people in this building give the players on an individual basis what they need to survive, to thrive. Word's getting around. And players come here and they play their best football. Sean McDermott told me something, I think it was on the Sean McDermott show, but I don't think we said it on camera. He said, I don't want anybody to come here, play and leave and then play better somewhere else. We want to get everybody's best right here in Buffalo. We want to give them whatever it takes to get that. The culture they've built seems to be exactly that. That is really the secret to this team winning 5 straight division titles. They get the most out of every single roster. And they've got a general manager and the head coach who see the game the exact same way. They like the same kind of players. They like the same attributes in each player. And Brandon Beane, with close input from Sean McDermott and his coaching staff, has done a great job drafting free agents. I mean, think about Mac Hollins. I mean, you know,
an NFL journeyman who's found his way here
and you think about Christian Benford, a 6th-round draft pick, Matt Milano, a 5th-round draft pick, Taron Johnson, a 4th-round draft pick. These guys aren't first-round draft picks. You know, it's a culture and a way of evaluating and a cohesion in the coaching staff, in the front office, in the support staff, in the training room, in the weight room, of building a culture that has gone from never being in the playoffs to being a 5-time division champion and clinching a division earlier than anybody's ever done it in a 17-game schedule.
The mantra here is be you with us. Be yourself with the Buffalo Bills. And you see guys doing that every single day here. You've got a left tackle in Deion Dawkins, whose nickname is the Snowman. You've got a quarterback in Josh Allen, who people say is a golden retriever and just likes to joke around all the time. And then you've got a linebacker wearing the green dot in Terrell Bernard, who is a total football guy and just lives, eats, and breathes football and is on his iPad watching film every single second of the day. There's a lot of different characters on this team, but they all work together, and it's created this atmosphere, this environment, this culture of winning 5 straight AFC East titles. You got a head coach in Sean McDermott who is doing snow angels in the snow. Josh Allen says this one feels different. What's next for this team?
I'll say this: stay healthy. You can do the doors are open now because you know you're in the playoffs. You know you've won the division. Certainly the 1 seed is out there, and you're going to push to win every single game as long as that's on the table or until you get it and keep it. But there's no reason to overdo it, to to press through, to get guys back early from injury, there is reason now to put some things on film that other teams will have to prepare for that you have no intention of running in other games or any time further in the future. You can experiment with things. You can give guys opportunities now and reward guys at the bottom of the roster for the way they've worked, the way they've helped the stars on this team, the way they've given looks on the scout team. Guys, guys like Mike White getting elevated today as a backup quarterback. Let those guys come up and play. Give some of the young players a chance to develop. Give Cole Bishop a chance to take some reps on the field in second half of games. Give guys a chance to get Kyer Elam some reps on the field. Get him acclimated to playing in the defense. Give guys a chance to develop so that if something happens subsequent down the line to one of the starters, these guys are well-oiled, ready to go in. They've got some game time now, recently. In the last month, they've been playing. So when you get into the playoffs, you got 53 on the roster, 16 on the practice squad. Everybody feels like they're playing their best at the end of the season when the playoffs start. That's what you can do over the next 6 games getting ready for this.
The Bills beat the 49ers with a final score of 35-10. They're your AFC East champions for the 5th straight year in a row. This team has also scored at least 30 points in 9 out of their 12 games so far this season. 30 points in 6 straight games. They also have a 7-game win streak going. It's a wagon, so jump on. It's fun. It's been so fun so far, and the fight for the AFC East, the AFC #1 seed, is on. It's capable.
And it's just out there. If the Chiefs don't block a field goal against Denver, if they don't get a weird ending to the Raider game, if the Chiefs do stumble, the 1 seed is the Buffalo Bills at the current moment. But they've got to keep winning games to do it.
Yep. On deck for Buffalo, a game against the Rams and a game against the Detroit Lions. 2 straight away games. Then they'll head back home for a few AFC East games against AFC East opponents to finish out the regular season.
Patriots, then Jets, then back to the Patriots, yeah.
But a couple tough games on deck for this team.
I'll say this. You can get ready for the storyline now. Certainly this Rams game's going to happen, and we can talk like this. The team won't talk like this because they're going to think about the Rams, the Rams. But let me tell you something. In 2 weeks, there's going to be a game in Detroit between the Lions and the Bills. And anybody who has a pulse, who has ever watched an NFL game in their entire life, is going to want to see that game.
Is that a measuring stick game?
It's a measuring stick game, and the reason I bring it up is because let's get ready, because the narrative is going to be, could it be a Super Bowl preview?
I think it could be.
Oh yeah, between these two teams, the way they're playing, it's going to be an epic matchup. Really a fun game to watch. But we got the Rams to go out a long trip across the country. The Rams are a little bit like the Niners. They're in it. They've got a chance. They're going to be a little desperate to win. They're going to be at home, and it's a long trip out there. So the Bills really can't afford to say, take a stretch and take their nose off the grindstone. They got to keep grinding.
Yep, not a time to take your foot off the gas pedal now.
They've got to keep winning.
You got to keep winning. You got to keep winning games because you're fighting for that #1 seed in the AFC, and it could be yours if the Chiefs decide to drop a game, which is definitely possible if you look at their schedule. We've seen how the Chiefs have won games throughout the entire season. It's been last-second plays that have gone in their favor or have gone against the favor of the team they're playing. But what a start to the season for the Bills. 10-2 so far, and they keep rolling. They're your AFC East champions with a lot left to play. Week 13 is finished, and Week 14 we go into a game against the LA Rams. We want to thank you for tuning into Bills Postgame Live presented by Paramount Plus. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you all next week.